Today I just want to introduce you guys to the very basic technique called the tan and the Tiao on the Pipa. And this technique has been probably done many times on YouTube before, but this video is very specific to my online students, and I want them to see this technique in different type of angles, and also to point out some of the common mistakes that a lot of my students make, and I just want to make sure that people are not making the same mistake. Whoever is watching this video, I want to make sure that you guys are not making the same mistakes that some of my students are making. That way it can save you a lot of time practicing or changing your bad habits later on in life. Okay, so let's get started. So the tan tiao, tan meaning this motion, and tiao meaning backwards with your thumb on the same string, like that. Usually on the same string. It doesn't have to be. So the basic technique that I'm going to show you right now requires your position, your hand position, your right hand. By the way, this is my right hand. Your right hand with your nails wrapped around like this. And if you need guidance on how to do your nails, I have another video about that, and you can go and check it out on my channel. So basically, with your nails, put it on like that, and then what you do is that when you have your hand, remember that it's always going to be in a loose fist. So this is my fist like that, and just loosen up a little bit after, and then that way, and then you loosen the top a little bit so that your finger forms a round shape like that, and also your first finger and your thumb also forms a round shape. So when you're playing the tan tiao, the tan going like this and the tiao going like this, there are some things that you need to keep in mind. First of all, your tan and tiao needs to use the small little joints here, here, and here, all at the same time, including your knuckles. A little bit, a tiny bit with your knuckles, not that much. But remember that you guys need to use all three joints at the same time and a very quick motion. That way it gives that little like a crisp sound that you often hear with a lot of the Pipa players. And for your thumb, the same thing. Remember to keep this joint here bent. That's a small joint of your thumb bent, and then all you need to do is flick it like that. Okay, a lot of my students, some of the common mistakes, I'm going to list off a few. Number one, the common mistake is that after they did the first one like that, they forget to rebend the fingers, both the first finger as well as the thumb. They forget to rebend it, and then they are stuck in that forever extended position, and it looks like what I call a chicken's beak or a beak. So you want to see that the first two fingers are round like that, and always round. So when you play it, you come back to the original position. You play it, you come back to the original position. When you get faster, you'll realize that when you're actually playing it, your fingers are not actually touching each other because they're occupying the same space but at different times. So when you play it, it should be like a sequence, okay? Number two, the number two mistakes that people make with their playing, when they're playing, is that their fingers are on the string before they pluck. So they touch the string first with their first finger, for example, this one, they touch the string first, and then they push off of it. And that will not give you a crisp sound. So what you're trying to do is that if this is a string, this is your string, you're trying to stay a little bit away from it and use the same motion that we were talking about before, using all the joints extending at the same time. You touch the string lightly like that. It's a little flick, and then it's a little flick back, a little flick, a little flick back like that. So that way, you're flicking the string rather than pushing on the string. Okay, the last tip I'm going to give you before we're off for the day is that you have to remember to keep this part round. So this part is round is very important because that will help you. If you just keep that in mind, it will help you catch some of your very basic mistakes with the plucking. Basically is that if you forgot to bend your thumb, you will find that you will end up like this a lot of the time, and you will be plucking like this, and then you will see that this angle, the angle between your first finger and your thumb, has closed up, and that will not give you a nice sound. It will not give you a flicking sound, and on top of that, it will not make you be able to play the Tiao very fast. And later on, when you're doing songs that require speed, for example, so that is very important to keep in mind. So when we're actually playing on the pipa, when we're actually playing the string, remember that your wrist is not outwards like this, neither is it bent like that. So the wrist should be in neutral position, not like this, nor like that. It should not be touching the pipa, neither your side of your arm right here or your wrist. Nothing should be touching the pipa on the side. If you need to hold your pipa steady, use your left hand, not your right hand. Use your left hand to hold it steady, and your right hand should not be touching the pipa. So you're holding a neutral position, and then you flick it like this. I would recommend starting the practice without involving your wrist. If you see that some teachers teaches a wrist motion like this, that's also correct. That's normal. It's just that it's easier if you can get a really nice crisp and clean sound with your finger first, and then you add the wrist, and that way you will make sure that you have really proper basic technique. So happy practicing. There are just 3 of the top mistakes I've seen a lot of my students make, and I've taught many of them starting from scratch. So if you were to look out for those mistakes, correct them if you already learned it and realize that you're doing those, and then I guarantee you that your speed of your plucking will go up, and also the nice tone of the pipa can be brought out with that proper technique. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you need more, let me know or drop me a message, and I can make some just for you.